I found her outrageous Craigslist ad, and I'm beyond furious. I'm a 33-year-old man who just uncovered that my wife is nothing but a lying, unfaithful woman. We've been married for 8 years, and I was genuinely proud of her when she finally secured a new job after months of struggling to find anything decent. I was happy for her. She has nearly $80,000 in student loan debt, and I stood by her, carrying that burden only to end up in this situation. Her new job has been sending her on trips all over the country. Even though it meant spending less time together, I wanted her to enjoy the opportunities. But apparently, she's been enjoying them way too much. This morning, while using our shared computer, I noticed her email was still logged in. Out of sheer curiosity, I decided to take a quick look. That's when I found an email from an active Craigslist ad looking for a hotel hookup. There were already multiple responses, but it seemed like she hadn't replied or finalized anything yet. I'm livid. I trusted her, and now I see she's nothing more than a selfish, deceitful person willing to throw away our marriage for a cheap thrill. And who knows? Maybe this isn't even the first time. I'm torn between confronting her right away or waiting until she gets back from her damn business trip. I won't let her disrespect me like this. I need to know if she's truly this heartless, preferring random flings over fixing what we have, or if she's just so shameless that she won't even have the decency to give me a straight answer. I'm venting here because I need to figure out my next move. Right now, I'm too angry and unstable. I need to calm down first. How do I confront her without losing my mind and doing something that will ruin my life? I'm at a complete loss, and every fiber of my being is screaming for revenge. Any advice or shared experiences would be appreciated. This just keeps getting worse. I thought I had seen the worst of her, but damn, I was wrong. After my initial discovery, I kept scrolling through her emails, and sure enough, I found 2 more Craigslist ads. Both ads lined up perfectly with her previous business trips. There were responses from different men, but the second one was even more infuriating. She actually responded to 3 different guys and arranged meetups. 2 were in hotel rooms, and another was at a different location. They even exchanged details about the things they wanted to explore together. It's disgusting beyond words. I've been saving every piece of evidence by taking screenshots of every email I can find. I'm building a digital case file of every lie and betrayal. I haven't told anyone yet. I'm keeping this all to myself for now, trying to calm down before I decide my next step. I'm beyond outraged. Every time I think I've hit the bottom of this mess, another shocking truth knocks the air out of me. I've been ignoring her calls since I found out yesterday. She keeps calling, and I know I should answer and pretend everything is fine, but I can't bring myself to hear her voice. What she's done is unforgivable. It's a betrayal of the worst kind. She slept with 3 different men, came back as if nothing happened, and got intimate with me. What about STDs? She's put my health at risk without my consent. I never asked for any of this. I've started researching divorce. We live in a no-fault state, so legally, her infidelity won't automatically give me the upper hand. However, every screenshot and email I've saved will be a powerful weapon when it comes to alimony and property division. I'm not rushing into anything yet. I want to be smart about this. I won't let anger ruin my strategy. I need to plan my first move carefully. If anyone here has been through this kind of relentless betrayal and has any advice on how to move forward without losing yourself in the process, I'm all ears. For the record, when she got back from her latest business trip, I acted completely normal. I didn't let a single hint slip that I knew about her Craigslist ads or any of her lies. For 3 whole days, I kept up the facade, pretending nothing was wrong. I played the part of the devoted, supportive husband, smiling in the morning, preparing dinner, and inquiring about her day, all while silently counting down the moments until the charade would end. The divorce papers weren't finalized yet, but on the 4th day after her return, I handed them to her. I had collected them after work that evening. As we sat down for dinner, I calmly slid the documents across the table, watching as her expression went blank. For a few agonizing moments, she seemed to have a silent breakdown. No tears, just a quiet, heavy resignation that made it clear she had known, deep down, that this was inevitable. I had already set everything in motion with my attorney, and mediation was about to commence. From the very beginning, I made it clear that I was pursuing an uncontested divorce. I had no desire for a protracted, bitter court battle. I wanted a clean break. I wasn't interested in taking anything from her, just as I wouldn't allow her to take anything from me. Even though we live in a no-fault state, meaning her infidelity wouldn't necessarily give me a legal advantage, I knew that every single screenshot I possessed, one she knew I had, gave me leverage. Meanwhile, her family had become involved. They were furious, not just at her for her actions, but even more so at me for pushing her away by serving the papers so soon after her return. I know it sounds twisted, but blame was being tossed around like confetti at a parade, and much of it was directed at me. They insisted I should have given her a chance to fix things, to fight for our marriage. But after everything I had uncovered, there was nothing left to salvage. She was no longer mine, so why would I fight for her? I'm still processing it all. It feels surreal. The life I once knew is crumbling, and I'm filled with a mixture of anxiety, fury, and dread when I think about the coming weeks. I know I'll never be the same again. I despise her for what she did. The ordeal is nearing its conclusion, after 4 grueling mediation sessions. Because my soon-to-be ex was determined to waste my time, she and her lawyer attempted to saddle me with half of her nearly $80,000 debt. My lawyer, and I shut that down immediately. She even had the audacity to shed a few tears, claiming that covering part of her debt would be the gentlemanly thing to do. I reminded her that she was no lady, so there was no reason for me to be a gentleman. Even then, they wouldn't let it go. After our 3rd mediation session, I made a veiled threat. I had been taking a high road, but I could just as easily choose not to. The look in her eyes was like that of a deer caught in headlights. After that, she dropped the issue and agreed to a clean separation. No financial ties, no alimony, nothing. From the start, I had been clear. I wanted an uncontested divorce, and I refused to be burdened with liabilities that weren't mine. Looking back, so many things in our everyday life suddenly make sense. When I'd ask her about making purchases for our apartment, she would either agree half-heartedly or dismiss the topic, cutting our conversation short. Then, out of nowhere, she'd get irritable, leaving me to apologize just to smooth things over, even though all I had done was try to discuss simple matters. Over time, her behavior became more erratic. She started going out more often, staying out until the early hours of the morning, which led to massive arguments. Her excuse? She was bored and felt I was too much of a homebody. She dressed up for those nights out, new outfits, meticulously done hair and makeup, telling me, I just want to look cute, as if it was for no one in particular. But now, I know exactly who it was for. Then there was a sudden appearance of a phone password, something she had never used before in our entire relationship. Her excuse? A friend had once prank texted people when she left her phone unattended. I don't know if that was true, but I do know that I once caught her texting hurriedly while I was walking behind her. When I tried to glance at her screen, she subtly shielded it from my view and later brushed it off, claiming I was imagining things. In hindsight, all of these little red flags were pieces of a much larger deception. After the final mediation, I ran into her family again. The cold, judgmental stares they gave me said it all, as if I were somehow the villain in all of this. It just goes to show that sometimes the people closest to you are the first to point fingers when things fall apart. Now, with mediation concluded and the divorce set to be finalized in about 3 weeks, I find myself at a crossroads. What comes next? I'm still trying to process the sheer magnitude of lies I was fed, the realization that our entire marriage was built on falsehoods. It's a bitter, painful ending, but I want to heal. I want to move on, to forgive, forget, and leave this behind me. I also recently learned that the body count she swore was only 4 was a complete lie. Thanks to an ex-friend of hers, I now know the real number is somewhere between 25 and 35, possibly even higher. I wish I had known this before I married her. Ironically, the only reason this friend finally spilled the truth was because she discovered messages between her husband and my soon-to-be ex that she didn't like. I didn't bother asking for more details. It's no longer relevant to me. But apparently, my ex might also be a homewrecker on top of everything else. I have no intention of spreading the content of the screenshots. As far as I'm concerned, they've already served their purpose. I got what I wanted, a clean break, and that's all that matters.